I just thought they should use more of our people, that's all. You know. Valerie? Valerie, no, don't, Valerie, no!
What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? Here I am in New York City. I'm going to a location I've been to before I started YouTube, because a lot of these videos that I put up before I was on YouTube, started doing YouTube, I would come to crazy or weird or obscure or infamous places all the time. A little loud. I'm a huge fan of Andy Warhol. Always have been. I put together an Andy Warhol tour a few years ago in New York City, where I dragged all my friends to two of his houses, one on Lexington, one on East 66th, and then a couple of the factories, one of his studios. He's buried in just outside of Pittsburgh, a little suburb. That video's up on my channel. But I haven't really done a lot of Andy Warhol stuff. And I've always wanted to put more Andy Warhol content on my channel because I love Andy Warhol. I just love the whole 60s, 70s New York vibe, especially the 70s. You know, Studio 54, Max's Kansas City, that whole scene. And Andy Warhol had a place called The Factory. That's what it was dubbed. And it was notorious for parties and hangers-on, just people coming and going at all times. It's where he worked, it's where he made his lithographs and silk screens, and his workers made them. There are 4 locations of The Factory. I'm going to take you to the second, I believe it's number 2. Now, the first factory is no longer around. The building's been demolished. The second one, the Decker building, is where we're going, where something infamous happened. Third one has been remodeled, and the fourth one is gone. I believe I got that right. But in 1968, because people were coming and going, wasn't much security, Andy Warhol was shot. He didn't die. He came close to dying. But that incident led to his, well, didn't lead to his death years later, but it played a part in it. All right, we're almost there. Let's walk. Just walking up toward Union Square. I'm on 6th right now, heading to 16th Street. And I've been walking around. Oh, yes. I should add, not that it matters. I'm actually not vain. If I look at my haircut, how could I be vain with this haircut? But I'm actually struggling with contact lenses today. I can barely see. My eyes are really sore. So as soon as I do this, I'm heading back to where I'm staying to take them out. So if my eyes look a little weird, that's, well, weirder than normal. Somebody said they hated my eyes once. I was like, what a weird comment to make to a complete stranger. But they hated my eyes, and that's fine. This isn't about me. But just to let you know, I can barely see out of my left eye right now. There's something going on. All right, let's go. You know what? As we walk, I'm going to tell you about what happened at this building as we walk through New York City together. And believe me, you're right with me. That's the way I view my channel. You, the viewer, you individually are right here beside me. And I'm just taking you around and telling you what I know about places. So Andy Warhol, very, very famous artist, man about town. the Elvis silkscreen, Elizabeth Taylor, Marilyn Monroe, self-portrait, and so many famous artworks by Andy Warhol. Campbell soup. If you go to his grave, you'll see a lot of Campbell soup cans. And there's a camera on his grave 24/7 for people to view. At least there was. I hope it's still there. And you can click on Andy Warhol cam, I believe, and it shows you his grave 24/7. So, there was a woman named Valerie Solanas, and she founded an organization called SCUM, which stood for Society for Cutting Up Men. Now, she founded this organization. She was the only member, I might add. So in late 1965, she was trying to get Andy Warhol to produce a play she had written called Up Your Ass. But little success. He was not interested in it. Yes, you heard right. That was the title. But she was always broke. Andy Warhol was known to be generous. Gave her a small only paid her $25, but he gave her a small part in a film called I, a Man. So between 1965 and 1967, Valerie Solanas was working on her SCUM manifesto. It was about a world without men. And it was called on responsible, thrill-seeking women to overthrow the government, eliminate the money system, eliminate the male sex. So she was trying to get Andy Warhol to help her promote SCUM. Sent him a letter in 1967, just seeing if Andy Warhol would be interested, because he did some crazy out there, sort of things. So she had written that play, Up Your Ass, as it was called. But at some point, and she had given it to Andy, he had misplaced the manuscript. Didn't know where it was. So Valerie thought Andy Warhol was trying to steal her intellectual property. She repeatedly called his office with threats and demands about the play until he stopped taking her calls. Andy Warhol is known to bore ideas, somewhat, steal ideas maybe. She became paranoid that she lost the play and that he was going to claim it as his own and make it. So June 3rd, 1968, she showed up at the building we're about to go to. A lot further walk than I had anticipated. Right up there on the left. That's called the Decker Building. It's been around since 1892. Right at the corner, I'm at 5th and 16th. It's just that big building there. Yeah, 1892. Andy Warhol's factory was in operation here from 1968 to 1973. And he was on the 6th floor of this building. Alright, let's walk on over to it. It's been a while, that's the building. It's been a while since I've been to this part of Manhattan. Here it is. And there's the Empire State Building just off there in the background. Very cool. We're going to walk right down here. We're going to jump on over to this side and get some shots across the street as well. Because this is a very, very beautiful building, but also very infamous for the shooting of Andy Warhol. Should add, in 1996, there's a great movie made. Director was Mary Herron. She made a great movie called I Shot Andy Warhol with Lily Taylor, who's a great actress. Oh, she's phenomenal. She was in everything in the 90s, early 2000s. And what a performance. And it's based on this event. And it is a great movie, and I highly recommend checking it out. I'm not sure where it's available to stream. It's 27 years old now, that movie. Wow. But I used to be obsessed with it and watched it over and over, as I've done with many movies. I always say that's my favorite movie, that's my favorite movie. I have a lot of favorite movies. This is it, 33 Union Square, right here on our left. Now I'm going to go back across the street to give you a better shot of the building. Yeah. There it is. There's the famous Decker Building. I'm not sure if it's open or what. I'll see if I can get in the front. Let's tell the story right now. So, like I said, June 3rd, 1968, she showed up here at his new factory, and there's a .32 Beretta that she used. And she shot Andy Warhol and a London art gallery owner named Mario Amaya. And then she left. Shot him and left. see the cool architecture on the side of the building right here. Right there. Decker building. Can you see it? Right there. There you go. 15 minutes like Andy Warhol, right? There you go. Nice guy. Posing. Not like a poser. He was posing for me. New Yorkers are great. I tell you, I travel all over the country and Canada. 2 countries so far that I've been doing for you two. I will be doing more. And everybody is lovely. Everywhere I go. And I'm talking blue or red. Lovely people. Always. And everybody should get to experience New York City. Look at that building. Wow. So 2 bullets from Valerie's gun tore through Andy Warhol's stomach, liver, spleen, esophagus, and both of his lungs. He was briefly declared dead. The doctors were able to revive him. He spent 2 months in the hospital, recuperating from various surgeries, and he was forced to wear a surgical corset for the rest of his life that held his organs in place. Wow. Here we go. So this is interesting how she was apprehended, because she kind of just turned herself in. Just hours after the shooting, she approached a police officer in Times Square, north of here. She handed him the weapon, as well as a .22 revolver. And she reportedly told the cop he had too much control over my life. And that was a headline that was on the New York Daily News the next day.
Here, take this. The police are looking for me and want me. I shot Andy Warhol. Yeah, I had to. Yeah, he had too much control over my life.
She underwent several rounds of psychiatric evaluation and received a diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia. She was found competent to stand trial, though, and she pleaded guilty to assault charges. A judge sentenced her to 3 years, including time served, and she was released in 1971. That seems really low. That doesn't seem like a lot for almost killing 2 people. But even after that, so when she got out, she was still writing her scum manifesto. But her mental health began to decline. She became increasingly paranoid and unstable. And then she spent her last years in San Francisco in a single occupancy welfare hotel. And she died alone in 1988. Now what happened to Andy Warhol? Well, his career went on and he thrived. Unfortunately, he did not live a long life.
So è costoso. What part of the US do you guys made it here? Or?
And I should add that the entire time I was filming, probably some New Yorkers are going to point out to me that indeed I was filming 31 Union Square along as I was walking along and showing that building, because the Decker building actually starts right there. That's 31, that's 33. So it's very, very thin. I always thought that it was one building. It's not. See, I make mistakes, but I own them. Most of them. Second floor right there. I'll show you the 6th floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where that archway is, 6. Just above the archway, that's the 6th floor. That's where Andy Warhol's factory was. So they would have went in through that door right there. Both Mario Amaya and Andy Warhol survived the shooting by Valerie Solanas. The shooting had a major impact on Andy's life and work, even beyond the considerable physical scars that it left. He became much more guarded, abandoning most of his filmmaking in more controversial art and focusing more on business, founding Interview magazine in 1969. He said, "I said that I wasn't creative since I was shot, because after that I stopped seeing creepy people." More importantly, the shooting intensified Warhol's fear and loathing of hospitals, though he embraced alternative health treatments. This produced fatal results on February 21st, 1987, when Andy Warhol died of cardiac arrest suffered after gallbladder surgery, a procedure that he had delayed for several years due to his fear of hospitals. He could have gotten the surgery scheduled and done earlier had he been more preventive about his death, but until the end he avoided hospitals. He was always nervous about getting sick. I think death always made him nervous, but of course, having almost died once escalated that. That last bit was a direct quote from Jose Diaz, the curator of the Andy Warhol Museum in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Alright, so that's the decorative building right behind me there with the little pink light in the window. That's where Andy Warhol's second factory was located. That's where Andy Warhol was shot by Valerie Solanas. Check out my other videos of Andy Warhol. I went to his museum, went to his house, his original house in Pittsburgh, and his grave. And if this video does well, actually, you know I always say that, but I'm still going to do more Andy Warhol because I'm just fascinated by the guy, fascinated by his life, always have been. And there's one location I've always tried to get to. I hope to get to that one someday. It's kind of far, but thinking out loud. I'm thinking out. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Rest in peace, Andy Warhol. And rest in peace to Valerie Solanas. She had a troubled life. Thanks for watching. Peace.